All praise is due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres Anime review. I just finished watching, family, the latest episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. This season 3 it's just episode 54 overall, family. Episode 54. And we are finally, we're only a few episodes into the season for real, but the Culling games have officially started. They've been started unofficially, but now our core cast is getting involved, right? And so, family, there was a lot of information in this episode. Not in the same way as that episode with Tengen breaking down all the rules, but it's just a lot of new developments in the story, family. So we open up this episode with this. I didn't recognize this character, but their name we found out their name was Sasaki, right? They're sleeping in a dream, and Kenjaku, who's inhabiting Geto's body, right, is telling this person, Sasaki, that this is their only chance to escape the Culling games, right? There are barriers, and so if you're not already a player, right? Because we met a player who was already in the barrier, but they were considered a player, and so they can't leave. If you were a player at the time the barrier was created, you cannot leave. If you are not yet deemed a player, and you just happen to have been in the barrier when it came up, you do have a chance to leave. Kenjaku is telling these people who are not players that this is their opportunity to leave. Now, it was kind of weird because he kind of when he was walking with Sasaki, when Sasaki and Kenjaku were walking together, we saw cursed spirits and energy moving around in the background. But for Sasaki, it seemed to be like everything was in a pitch black. He felt like he was in a dream, right? Nonetheless, he ends up meeting the rest of the non-players, and they're at the edge of the barrier. Now they're freaking out because the edge of the barrier just looks like pitch black, like the world ends, right? You can't see beyond it, and it's just this pitch black wall. Okay, now so Sasaki met up with somebody they knew, and they told each other, hey, we both saw Kenjaku and tell us that we need to leave, right? But only so Sasaki asked, did he mention his son to you? And so only Sasaki got that mention. And so now we're trying to figure out, who is Kenjaku referring to as their son? Now, Sasaki hypothesized, they question right at the end, they're like, son? Is that Itadori? Okay, I don't know how he got to that, but so that's what happened. Okay, now we get to Yuji and Megumi and what's his name? The guy that we're trying to recruit. Dang, I forgot his name, but the Hikari, family. I was struggling. Okay, so we finally are able to let Hikari and Kirara know Gojo's sealed. He's not helping. So this is why we're coming to ask you, right? Now, it was a funny moment. Megumi, right? So Hikari explains, he's trying to figure out how he can benefit from helping us, right? And so he's understanding that the world of sorcery, family, is about to change, right? There was this old way of managing the sorcery world, but now that cursed spirits is common knowledge to even non-sorcerers, Panda is saying the world of Jujutsu sorcery is going to change. Hikari is wanting an opportunity to impose the changes that he wants to see, right? So Megumi tells him, well, I can help you with that. I'm actually the head of the Zenin clan. And it was a funny note of Megumi's basically using it. He's not leading with this, but he's like, well, if I can use it to my advantage, then I will. In this instance, he does. Now, we also got another note, though. Immediately, of course, Megumi didn't know this when he's pulling this card. Or not necessarily, really. But he tells Hikari, hey, I'm the head of the Zenin clan. And then we get a note, and Hikari's like, wow, I can use that. We got a note reminding us, family, that Maki, it happened in an episode previously, but in terms of this timeline, it happened the very next day after Megumi and Hikari came to this agreement. Maki eliminated, there is no more Zenin clan. It doesn't matter that Megumi is the head of it. There's no more Zenin clan, right? But nonetheless, we got Hikari's participation. And so, family, our plan is Hikari and Panda are going to one colony. I think is it the same colony that that Yuta is at? Is Hikari and Panda, are they going to the same colony that Yuta is already in? Meanwhile, Yuji and Megumi are going to a different colony, right? We're looking for the sorcerer who just imposed a rule, Kushimo, I think his name is. And we're also looking for this angel who can help us save Gojo. We don't know what she looks like. We don't know what he looks like, right? But we're using this information about the points because that's his rule. We're using that information to help us find him. Okay, so Yuji and Megumi approach the portal. And they learn in real time that you don't just walk into the barrier. You walk in, but then for Yuji at least, it's dropping him like he's hopping into a Fortnite game, right? Maybe the same thing happened to Megumi. He does have things that can help him navigate the air better, so we just seen him on the ground, right? Yuji is getting attacked immediely. And the narrator explains that there are 9 specific areas in which players are entered into. You walk into the barrier, there are 9 possible areas that you spawn. There are current players in the barrier spawn trapping the new players. And so that's what happens to Yuji. He's spotted upon entry and he's attacked. Now, these are 2 sorcerers that are using their hair to help them fly. One is using his hair like a helicopter, the other one using it like a plane. But long story short, Yuji beats them. And I was impressed by Yuji in this instance, right? I mean, I don't know the word for it at this moment, family. The word is escaping me. But Yuji is clearly, he's a silly person. He's a silly personality sometimes. Clearly, he's still got that cog energy from last episode where he's just focused about the mission. Not even, that's it. I just found Yuji impressive, right? In this instance. Now, the conclusion of this episode, family, Megumi met a girl named Remy. And he formed a relation, not a friendly one, but a useful relationship. He's saying, I'll protect you. There's a mutual agreement. She's asking for protection. In return, he's asking for her to lead him to this sorcerer, Kushimo, I think his name is, right? And they're barely trusting each other, right? They're feeling each other out as they try to go about this because there's no time. She says she's been fighting for 12 days already because she was a player that spawned into the barrier. So she's got a very good feel about the situation, which is great for Megumi. Now, Megumi gave Yuji advice that he learned was probably incorrect. So Yuji's headed for a problem. Particularly because when he defeated these hair sorcerers, the person they were working with recognized Yuji, and he says, hey, Yuji, I recognize you from middle school. This lowers Yuji's guard down. And so the same way Megumi's working with Remy, Yuji's working with Amai, and they both ask, hey, where's this Kushimo? They both think that this is a person they can somewhat trust. They're hoping that they'll help them find Kushimo. When they ask, where's Kushimo? They give them different answers. So we see 2 different spots that Kushimo's supposed to be in. Who knows which one is which? Are they both working with him? I don't know, family. But that was a lot of information in this episode. It was very fun, though. I'm excited for what's next in the Culling games. All praises due to the Most High. Peace and love.